Ambrosia for Heads, Justin Hunt. This is Last 7, counting down the top stories over the last 7 days. What happens when you take two legendary MCs and sit them down on Sway in the morning? Super Cyan Lyrical Cypher. This is one of the week's top stories. 40,000 shares on this one alone. Method Man sets off the head-to-head, kicking rhymes so fresh he had to read them from the phone. The two tackled JID's Never Left beat. Check the Italian Stallions Espanol flow.
I'm sipping OJ in the Bronco, next to this Henny bottle. Skinny model, she clearly sniffing that Benny Blanco. Mami te amo, no cigar but cigar hablando. Cigar mamando, this ain't the combo for me, hermano. Let's get it pronto, have my burro Siciliano. I spit bananas since no one managed to kill Bonanno. Got bad grammar, but y'all don't quote me, I keep it Bama. Like Thor and I get low key, so keep a hammer.
Ew, I love that verse. Now, thought might have prevailed on this day though. He starts off kilter, then unleashes a tidal wave of emoji flame. Check it out.
When a leader get to speaking, it's your duty to respond. I'ma leave these niggas leaking like I'm Julian Assange. Come on. Press rewind, never contest the dime. I'm coming from the south side like the Mexican cartel.
I'ma leave these leaders leaking like I'm Julian Assange. Woo! That's ruthless. Now, both Method Man and Black Thought star in HBO's The Deuce. Method Man's a major part of Wu-Tang The Saga Continues, which drops October 13th. Black Thought, The Roots, reportedly they're swimming through about 250 different tracks as they finalize their next project, Endgame. Also, Jake Payne, AFH EIC, he spoke with Black Thought. Here's what he said.
But this is also the first full-on record that we're recording from scratch since the untimely passing of our manager, longtime manager and mentor, Rich Nichols. So, yeah, you know, it's definitely, it feels different without his input. But, yeah, you know, we've got lots of material. And in the way the game is set up now, it's not even as album-driven as it has been over the years. I think it's more now about having, you know, songs that specifically engage a specific audience in order to have a complete project that feels, you know, inclusive.
For my money, no show does a better job of weaving real-world issues with scripted hilarity than Blackish. It's like a modern-day Cosby show before the term Cosby was a bad word. This week they talked about Juneteenth. Now, this is the day Union soldiers landed on Galveston, Texas, and notified slaves that slavery was over, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. To help illustrate the point, The Roots remix a classic schoolhouse rock jam about how a bill is passed, and then flip it to capture Juneteenth history. Here's a clip.
I am a slave and the home of the brave, a product of the triangular trade. Please pardon my ways if I'm nervous or the slightest bit skittish in the presence of the Portuguese, Spanish, Dutch, or British.
Thought's rendition is pretty uncanny. He sounds strikingly similar to the original I'm Just a Bill, scratchy voice and all. Tariq Trotter fans, you guys aren't surprised though. You know Thought's been doing incredible impressions of your favorite MC since The Tipping Point, something we pointed out in our Black Thought GOAT piece. Make sure you check that out, as well as the full Juneteenth video. Y'all gonna learn today. Big news on the EPMD front. Eric and Parrish are working on their 8th studio release, Dynamic Duos, Big Business. It's one of the freshest concepts I've heard in a while. One of hip-hop's most legendary duos is enlisting other legendary duos for their release. They laid out who they have in tow on Drink Champs.
Because right now we have Capone Noriega, Mobb Deep, MOP, Salt and Pepper, Black Star.
Did you put us in that category earlier? Because I'm feeling good.
No, Dynamic Duels is coming.
Listen,
it's coming on Rock, me right now. It's coming on Rock Nation. The Dynamic Duels that made an impact.
We're only working with groups on this album.
Only groups. It's called Dynamic Duels, Big Business.
Big Business. That's so dope, and I'm also hating because I felt like I should have come in with that.
That's crazy.
Salt and Pepper. Word up. Now, Eric and Parrish say the project will be released through Rock Nation. They say they already have the production lined up and even tossed around the idea of bringing in Raekwon and Ghostface. This keeps getting better and better. Sadly, tragedy seems to be everywhere we turn these days. Stephen Paddock reportedly rained gunfire down on a country music festival in Las Vegas last week. He broke out a window in the Mandalay Bay and killed 59 people from long range. Hundreds were injured. This was a horrific incident. At the same time, all eyes have been on Puerto Rico following Hurricane Maria. Federal response to this tragedy has been heavily criticized. Only 8% of the island, with only 3 million inhabitants, has electricity, and only 36% of its ATMs are working. 80% of its hospitals are still being powered by generators, and the shortage of food, medical supplies, and clean water is widespread. During a visit to the island, President Trump told Puerto Ricans,
"I hate to tell you, Puerto Rico, but you've thrown our budget a little out of whack."
Fortunately, Fat Joe, with help from Jay-Z and Tidal, has decided to take action. Taking to Instagram last month, Joey Crack stated, "As the humanitarian crisis in Puerto Rico grows, our brothers and sisters are desperate for our help. Please join myself, Tidal, Governor Cuomo, and Ruben Diaz Jr. as we collect and transport much-needed supplies to the island. The goal is to fill and send as many cargo planes as possible. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and I promise all these items will be delivered by me personally to Puerto Rico." Fat Joe also discussed his efforts on CNN. Other celebrities have pitched in. Lin-Manuel Miranda, he released a star-studded track called Almost Like Praying. J-Lo pledged $1 million. Daddy Yankee pledged another $1 million. Elon Musk offered to rebuild Puerto Rico's power infrastructure the Tesla way. It's amazing to see so many private citizens pitch in to help. But isn't this the type of thing that our tax dollars are supposed to go towards? Hurricane relief? Or are they just reserved for defense spending and tax breaks? Tension between America and the NFL continues. This may be the weirdest chapter yet. Follow along. Vice President Mike Pence arrived to the Colts vs. Niners game this week, but apparently was so offended that the Niners players took a knee against oppression and police brutality that he left the game immediately after the national anthem. He tweeted, "I left today's Colts game because at POTUS and I will not dignify any event that disrespects our soldiers, our flag, or our national anthem." Many are calling this political grandstanding, since San Fran's the most vigilant team protesting police brutality, so it isn't a reach to think the Niners would take a knee against oppression on Sunday. Jack Tapper added this. "To be clear, at VP flew from Nevada to Indiana last night, went to football game for a few minutes, then left in protest, soon flying back west to California. At some point before the game, according to POTUS, he and VP discussed him leaving in protest if any players took a knee. The pool reporter covering at VP was told to stay in the van in the parking lot and that VP would leave the game early. And now the VP is flying all the way back west to California. Reminder that last night he was in Las Vegas." A number of people are questioning the use of tax dollars, estimating that it costs probably $250,000 to prepare the stadium so that the vice president could fake attend a Colts game. Some are calling it fake outrage, pre-planned outrage. Others, like Molly Knight, are calling hypocrisy. To Pence, she said, "You're cool with POTUS disrespecting women, Gold Star parents, the disabled, Puerto Rico, the CIA, the FBI, POWs, and the free press, though." Whatever side of the aisle you fall, suddenly the NFL is a wedge issue, and perhaps the most revealing take on the embattled league this week came from Terry Crews. The former NFL player explained how the NFL has more thousandaires than millionaires. This is interesting.
First of all, when I retired, I thought my life was over because I said, man, nobody is going to hire me. This is all I wanted to do.
How much did you make?
I am done.
How much money did you have when you quit?
Again, I was a special teamer, so I topped out at about $300,000.
Okay, so you had a couple $100,000 in the bank, maybe?
Exactly, and then that went very quickly. So I was broke, okay? But the deal was, I saw the success afterwards as an actor, and then I went to literally, I go to South Africa. I'm on Sunday morning, I'm looking for NFL scores. I can't find them.
No one cares.
I go to Brazil, and I'm on Sunday morning. I can't find NFL scores. I go to Hong Kong. I can't find the NFL anywhere else in the world. I'm in Europe. I can't find it. Dude, it's a trick. No one else cares about the NFL. But you would think that the whole world cares. And they trick everybody into thinking it's all about this. And it even starts at the NCAA level. When you're talking about billions of dollars changing hands, and brothers are totally, they get these guys with bad relationships with their family, no dads, the whole thing. Now the NCAA is your father, okay? And you can't get no money. We can't pay you, but you see, your coach has a $4 million shoe deal. Okay, you're talking about massive exploitation of specifically African Americans.
That was dope, Terry. Appreciate that. Now, here's a theory as to why Trump continues to antagonize the NFL. The BBC points out that the ratings bump, the only real ratings bump he's received lately, is when he told NFL owners to fire the SOBs taking a knee on the field. Here's what BBC says. Congress is going to be unable to repeal and replace Obamacare health insurance reforms despite the president's assurances that doing so would be easy. That transparent wall he touted, it currently seems more likely that the president will strike a deal with Democrats to enshrine protections for undocumented immigrants who entered the U.S. as children, a move anathema to portions of his conservative base, then get funding from Congress to build the border barrier. The candidate Trump was in Alabama to boost Senator Luther Strange, a loss, representing an embarrassing rebuke to the president from his most loyal supporters. BBC also closes with this. Check this out. So what better way to change the subject than to restart a highly charged cultural debate about the appropriateness of political protests against the national anthem, one that allows the president, much to the delight of his base, to sing the praises of the U.S. military and wrap himself tightly in red, white, and blue. Great question, BBC. Great question. For Ambrosia for Heads, I'm Justin Hunt. This is Last 7. See you next week.